Hi, everybody. This week, we're zooming into SEMICON West and having conversations with members of the 3D Insights community. Today, I'm speaking with Amy Leong and Sarah Shields of FormFactor about the company's latest initiative in promoting STEM education and diversity and inclusion. Now, both of these topics are very near and dear to my heart. It's one of the reasons I started the SEMI-Sister organization and why the 3D Insights Awards program raises funds for STEM education. Amy and Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you both doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, very welcome. It's my pleasure. So let's talk about this initiative. I see your shirts. First of all, I love the name STEMinist. How did that happen?
It happened very organically. I was trying to come up with a slogan or a catchphrase. I'm a big fan of those. They tend to resonate really well with the audience. And I was trying to find a way to incorporate a powerful word like feminist with STEM, and then it just hit me, STEMinist. So I researched it, and I was really surprised to learn that no one had been using that word. It hadn't been copyrighted or anything like that. And I tested it with a few people, and everyone was like, oh, that's pretty clever. And it was so simple. And here we are with t-shirts. So yeah.
Right. And I would imagine that once you came up with a name, you had to come up with a meaning for it, which might have been a little more, we do naming projects all the time. And so usually there's a lot of time invested in coming up with the name, but when it hits you like that, you got to go with it. I agree. So what is STEMinist? What does it mean?
The definition is someone who champions for equal representation within the STEM profession. So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The definition, we knew all along what we wanted to say. So the definition kind of formed itself. I originally said someone who advocates for equal representation. But when I spoke to the stakeholders, I was very pleasantly surprised that they came back and they said, we want a more powerful word. And they came up with champion. I said, I'm so pleased to hear that. And absolutely, let's champion for this. So that's how it all just sort of came together.
Awesome. Great. So what's the campaign all about? What are you guys doing?
Well, basically, we want to champion for equal representation within the STEM fields. Let's see here. We don't want it to be passive. We want to actually champion, like I said. So it's not enough to look around and observe that there is gender inequality within STEM. We want to actually do something about that. So this is a way of centering our employees and our leadership team to look around and say, there are things that we could be doing differently, whether it's advocating or actually, starting a dialogue with a candidate or an employee, or promoting STEM education at home so that we have that long-term STEM pipeline. There are a lot of things that we can be doing. I don't think anyone questions the value of diversity and inclusion. I think there are plenty of studies, plenty of webinars that anyone could attend that say that it's important, that businesses are more successful, they're more innovative, they're more profitable when they have a diverse workforce. But there's very little out there that says, but how do you go about doing that? And I'm not saying that we have the answers, but there are a lot of things that we can be doing. And it starts with just acknowledging that there is inequality within the STEM professions. And then basically putting together a plan. What can we be doing? What can we personally be doing? What can we be doing as an organization? So that's really what STEMinism is all about, is acknowledging that there's a problem, sparking a dialogue, and going out and doing something. So something more affirmative, taking the action and actually champion for the equal representation.
So now, Amy, how does this fit into FormFactor's overall diversity and inclusion initiatives?
Yeah, that's a very good question. STEMness is absolutely a very crucial element of our overall effort to create a diversified and inclusive work environment at FormFactor. As you know, FormFactor is a leader in semiconductor test and measurement technologies. Whether our customers is developing chips that go into the latest electronics that we use today, or maybe quantum computers that are still in research mode. Our product help customers to better understand the device characteristics and gain yield knowledge. Because our business is highly driven by the lab to fab nature of our customers' business, our success really rely on relentless innovation. Because of this, attracting, engaging, and retaining talents with a passion for innovation and the science is a corporate imperative. And STEMinist campaign is just an example case in point. At FormFactor, diversity and inclusion is our company priority. We believe not only it's the right thing to do, but also a smart thing to do. As Sarah mentioned earlier, we believe a more diversified team are just better at innovating. Because once we're at the table, people bring their different culture background, different experiences. It's really these differences that push us to test our boundary conditions, to bring new ideas together, to stimulate creativity. And at the end of the day, that's why we have better innovation, better business results because of the diversified team. So lots of examples that we're currently doing in addition to STEMinist effort from end to end. Sarah is heading our recruiting effort to ensure that we have a diversified pipeline coming into our employee pool. For employee engagement, we also have a variety of programs, including mentoring program. We have company-wide diversity and inclusion events where we bring the thought leaders in this area to share with us their insights, best known method to create an inclusive work culture. We have also established employee resource group, like Women Network group called B3, that now reach our global employee base. So those are just a few examples. We're really excited about our journey in driving a more inclusive work environment at our company. And we really hope more companies can join us. As Sarah mentioned earlier, we have to be the change we want to be. So let's go do something together to help our technology industry.
You know, there's a lot of, I think over the years, there's been a lot of awareness raising around diversity and inclusion and a lot of statistics generated. And it is, you know, having the conversation is great, but starting to do something about it, I think is really important. And ECTC had a diversity and inclusion panel. SEMICON West will have a diversity and inclusion panel. And one of the things from the ECTC that I took away was that a lot of things have to happen that, you know, it's, you know, people always say, well, there's just not a lot of women in the pipeline. You know, how do we get more women involved? And really, I know it starts early with education and even at the level they were talking middle school is, and, you know, it's by middle school, girls are already figuring out what they want to be. And then the other thing, and Sarah, you can probably speak to this, is even something that seems as simple as how you word a job listing, and the words that are enticing, you know, that are, I don't know, will encourage a woman to apply for the job. Can you?
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. And I've been doing this for nearly 20 years now, and I had no idea that this was happening. But as with many things, once it's brought to your attention, you kind of realize, oh, wow, I can understand this. So yes, there have been many studies that suggest that statistically females are far less likely to apply to a job if the job description contains certain words. So they've found that certain words come across as far more aggressive and a turnoff. And it's not just females. They'll find that many underrepresented groups will see certain words and it will be an absolute turnoff. And having been doing this for a very long time, I've seen plenty of job descriptions be recycled time and time again. And it's just a reminder that you always have to get back to basics and really look, what am I putting out there for the world to see? And really recognizing that your words matter, and it's
Mm-hmm.
important that you are mindful and sensitive
Mm-hmm.
to the downstream effect that these things could
Mm-hmm.
have. So job postings is just one really good example of these studies have been done, it's been brought to everyone's attention, and it's time to actually enact some change. So there's a lot to be said for, I feel like, a revolution that we're having in our society right now, just
Mm-hmm.
around awareness. So
Mm-hmm.
diversity inclusion is just one good example of, we're now aware of the importance of it. We have all of the data that says that we should actually do something about this, so let's go do it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it can be a little bit daunting because it's not going to happen overnight. To your point, I need to now be worried about middle schoolers. You know, historically, I've only had to worry about, I have a job in front of me right now and I need to fill it. But if we are actually going to compete for years to come, and the goal of nearly every business is to be sustainable, same with any industry, we really do have to be thinking this far ahead. It's the long game. So we actually have established, just to put some structure around this, the Future FormFactor Engineer Program, where we have put together some resources for our employees to bring awareness to the fact that it's important to actually incorporate STEM education and promote STEM education at home. That you're absolutely right. It's by middle school that girls may decide they're not interested or it's not for me. There's a lot to be said for just representation, seeing female engineers or seeing female scientists be successful. So we're seeing a lot of these things happen now. It will take years before we actually see the results of all of that, but stay the course because it's really, really important.
Thank you so much. You know, I think that it's great that FormFactor is really stepping up and leading the charge, and hopefully other companies will learn from you and also do the same kind of, have the same kind of initiatives. So where can people go to find out more about STEMinist?
Well, I definitely suggest that anyone who's interested in the STEMinist campaign or diversity inclusion, follow FormFactor on LinkedIn. We oftentimes will post what we're doing, whether it's an event that we're hosting, a panel. Amy's put together quite a few events so far, or an event that we're attending, or really promoting all sorts of things that we're doing. We want to lead by example, and we want to put it out there for our peer companies to see, for candidates to see, because it ties back to representation, and this matters. It's content that is worthy. So absolutely follow us on social media channels like LinkedIn. And like any campaign, we're going to leave you wanting a little bit more in that we're actually revamping our corporate website right now. Our career page is going to have more information around the STEMinist campaign and a lot of the things that we're doing to promote STEM education early on, as well as we want to have a lot more transparency around our diversity and inclusion initiatives. So we are in the process of revamping the corporate website, and I expect later this year you'll be able to see, again, it goes back to the transparency, see a lot more about the activity and the efforts that we're putting into this.
Okay, so maybe at that point we should have another conversation. See
I would
how
love
it's going.
to.
We'll do a check-in. Sounds great. Okay.
And
so
I also want to just add, at SEMICON
Yeah.
West, FormFactor will be presenting at the diversity and inclusion session track, and we'll be talking about the importance of networking for career development, and I hope you can join us.
Okay, we will. So for those of you watching, go and be sure to check that out. Thank you both for joining us today. It was great to speak with you. And to the audience, thanks for stopping by the 3D Insights virtual booth. Don't forget to download your issue of the yearbook and subscribe to our e-newsletter. And definitely check out I know I'm going to be going to check out the diversity and inclusion panel as soon as, well, not as soon as we hang up because, you know, but soon, as soon as it's available. And so enjoy the rest of your time at Virtual SEMICON West, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.